You know that feeling. A runny nose, scratchy throat, and non-stop sneezing. You can't miss the signs of a cold. But mystery shrouds a lot of other things about it. Why do you seem to get them so often, while your best friend stays well? And more importantly, how can you stay healthy this year? Let's get the lowdown on the all-too-common cold. So what causes a common cold? It's an illness caused by a tiny, living thing called a virus. More than 200 virus types can lead to your misery, but the most common one is the cononavirus, which is thought to be responsible for at least 50% of colds. Other viruses that can cause colds include coronavirus, respiratory syncytial virus, influenza, and parainfluenza. You can catch it from another person who is infected with the virus, like your loved one. This can happen by direct physical contact with someone who has a cold, or by touching a surface contaminated with their germs, like a computer keyboard, doorknob, or spoon. If you then touch your nose or mouth, for example, if you don't wash your hands before eating, you can also catch it from infected droplets in the air released by a sneeze or a cough. A cold begins when a virus attaches to the lining of your nose or throat. Your immune system, the body's defense against germs, sends out white blood cells to attack this invader. Your nose and throat get inflamed and make a lot of mucus. Once inside you, the virus makes a beeline for your respiratory system and binds to the cells that line those areas. The virus then hijacks those cells' natural mechanisms for replicating and uses them to create even more flu viruses in your body. If allowed to continue, the virus would slowly start destroying your organs inside your body. The real fun starts when your immune system begins to fight. This begins as soon as the flu virus starts to replicate. Your immune system comes in two parts, the innate system and the adaptive. The innate immune system is essentially an all-purpose tool. As soon as your body senses the presence of any injury or invader, the innate immune system launches into action by producing tiny proteins called cytokines and chemokines. The cytokines reproduce almost immediately and start to attack the virus. This increase in immune cells creates an overwhelming inflammation throughout the body that makes you start to feel funny. But the worst is still to come. Simultaneously, the chemokines work with the adaptive immune system to help create T cells. These cells are a special type of white blood cell that work in a much more specific way. They find the influenza virus, identify what's special about it, and create a unique molecule on their surface that finds and destroys similar invaders. The influenza virus has already started its own rapid replication by the time this process gets started, so the adaptive immune system must generate a lot of T cells to wage a proper war. This massive production of T cells that infiltrate your lungs, throat, and nose cause inflammation, swelling, and pain. In your lungs, the mucus that accumulates from the inflammation itself causes you to cough constantly as your body works to clear airways. And because your lungs are now damaged and vulnerable, you have a greater chance of acquiring pneumonia from an opportunistic strain of bacteria. All those proteins, the cytokines and chemokines, travel through the bloodstream, which makes its way to every organ system in the body. Once they get there, the inflammatory proteins affect the way many of those organ systems function, causing symptoms of the flu. For example, the aches and pains that make you feel like you just ran an endurance run, researchers believe, occur because the cytokines induce the breakdown of muscle proteins. Researchers think this breakdown is likely beneficial because many of the resulting amino acids help to create and strengthen parts of the immune system. It's strange to think that almost every awful symptom you feel during the flu is the result of your own body attempting to attack it. But consider what would happen if your body didn't react this way. You wouldn't get the nagging cough, the aches and pains, or even the persistent fever. Instead, the flu virus would continue to replicate and slowly destroy the lining of the respiratory tract, or worse, allow bacteria to cause pneumonia and destroy it first. And since you need your respiratory tract to live, you might not survive to tell the tale. So if you do end up coming down with the flu and feel those aches and pains coming on, know that it's the only way to get better. So lucky for us, our amazing bodies does what it needs to do to make us better, and after some days of feeling awful, our body overcomes the virus and we return to normal. What an amazing body we have.